Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you're all well. I thought I would jump on and just do this very quick video. So we're gonna skip the normal formalities and get straight into the meat and potatoes, as it has just been reported that Dylan Mortensen has officially now left Idaho College, Idaho University. She's left. So we get into it and see what we think. So here we go. So look, we've got Idaho murders victim's roommate Dylan Mortensen switches schools after suffering survivor's guilt, as mystery still surrounds how she came face to face with the accused killer Bryan Kohberger and lived. It goes on to say, one of two Idaho students who survived the November 2022 massacre at their shared house has now switched universities, her stepmother said, and is racked with survivor's guilt. We'll come back to that in a bit. So Dylan Mortensen, 21, told detectives how she saw a man leaving the house in Moscow, Idaho in the early hours. Goes on here. Bryan Kohberger has been charged with 4 counts of murder and pleaded not guilty. He remains in jail with no trial date set. Mortensen left Moscow earlier this year, said Patricia Monroe, Mortensen's stepmother. Let's go back down here. We've got Monroe was married to Mortensen's father Brent and helped raise Dylan from the age of 7 until almost her graduation for high school. She told the New York Post she remained close to the family and Mortensen was okay. Monroe, 53, said there's a lot of guilt because, if someone says, oh well, Dylan was so lucky, you don't want to take on that luck because all of the children deserved luck. They all deserve to be spared from that. Which I can agree, but again, we'll come back to. Mortensen told police she stood in frozen shock phase. We're back to this frozen shock phase situation. And again, we're going to come back to that. As a figure clad in black clothing and a mask walked towards her, then towards the back sliding glass door and left the house. She locked herself in her room and did not emerge until the next morning. Mortensen and Bethany Funk, the other roommate who has survived the attacks, did not call police until noon the next day, which has given rise to online, call them trolls. If you're someone who questions why surviving roommates in a house where 4 other people were killed, you question why it took so long to call 911, you're a troll. You're not just someone who's thinking along the lines of, we know in situations where children as young as 4 and 5 have called for law enforcement assistance, but they didn't. But you're a troll if you question it. Just bear that in mind. Trolls attacking Mortensen and Funk and claiming they were involved in the murders. You never really think about online backlash and trolls until you deal with it, and it's just a really hurtful thing, Monroe said. I challenge anyone to be in a position where they wake up to 4 of their roommates gone, and not even realising it. People have to understand that these children are very young. They're just young kids, and it's just a really traumatising thing. I just think that people need to have compassion. There needs to be a space and time for all the details to come out in trial. Mortensen's father Brent told author and private investigator J. Reuben Appleman that she was isolating herself and playing video games to deal with the stress. Appleman told News Nation in the beginning weeks after those homicides, she was basically dogpiled on social media. This was part of the trauma that she experienced. Dylan herself has retreated from the public eye. Very few people see her. I agree with that. Mortensen's father told Appleman that his daughter's in the process of healing, despite being hounded by bullies. She is trauma therapy of sorts. She's getting help from the spiritual community, so we're referring back to an earlier release there. Isolating herself, but she is stepping out a little at a time. She is gaming online with peers in group gaming sessions. She's doing what she can without going into the public. I think that brings that to a conclusion. So, there's elements of that I can fully understand. I don't think anybody could wish somebody to be in that situation. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone can argue that, even me and how critical I have been of the situation. I would not wish to be in that position or place anybody in that position. You can't kind of understand how someone can react. The issue with this situation, which they quite cleverly evade talking about in that, is the fact that you can't have the best of both worlds. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't turn around and say, I was frozen in shock phase, which then leads you to believe that something was seen, because you wouldn't just go into frozen shock phase if you saw someone in a house of this nature. When you think this is a house that you're hearing things going about, you're hearing stuff, you shout and shut the fuck up, apparently, which would lead you to believe that your mentality could be that there's other people in the house, there's other stuff going on, and you're in your room disconnected from that, and you don't really know what's going on, so you're shouting out, shut up. So you see someone leave. Is that after you've shouted shut up? Maybe that person was just part of who was making the noise, and they're leaving. So this frozen shock phase is kind of what's thrown a spanner in the works of that story. It's a bizarre statement to make unless you saw something, and if you didn't see something, then you get my point. But yeah, she's left Idaho, and what I struggle with, I think that this place, where this all happened, Ground Zero, now, unless she fears that there's going to be backlash, then why would she move? Because this crime, this case, this situation is known across the whole of America. You can't go to another state without people being aware of this crime. I don't think so, anyway, unless she's gone to some real obscure place that don't have TV and radio and media. So I don't get it. In my eyes, if she's got true friends around this area, why would you not want to be around your friends and the people that you have been with leading up to this situation? And I would imagine that she would get a huge amount of support here. With the people who are attacking her for this, they're trolls, and trolls surely are few and far between. So to say that she's had to leave because of survivor's guilt and that, I can't 100% buy into that. Because again, it's like saying the Kylie Rodney situation when she lost her life. You didn't see all of these around this situation leave. You didn't. I know the actual manner with which the situation unfolded is different, but they caught so much backlash, a huge amount of backlash, because people couldn't understand why Kylie supposedly went to this party with friends and ended up deceased and nobody knew about it. They washed their hands of it, and they almost took over. The students took over that investigation, but you didn't see when the dust settled that a load of them left the area, never to return again. They stayed with their friends. Let me know down below what you think. Is this a situation where she is avoiding Idaho itself, and the fact that she knows that people are going to have questions, and if they have questions, why do they have questions? Or is just anybody who questions this situation simply a troll? And Idaho and Moscow is just full of trolls. I'll catch you all in the next one.